Hey friends, I got something in the mail recently and I have been holding on to it to make a video for you guys. Can you guess what it is? It is my 2022 ICD-10-CM manual. I know I'm a little late on this, right? I was going to do a presentation on the 2022 changes, but there were so many other people that had free webinars available, I just didn't feel the need to reiterate something that was already readily available by other organizations. But I needed to update my guidelines playlist, so the guidelines playlist right over there does have the updates now for 2022. By the way, if you're new to my channel, I'm Victoria. I'm a medical coder, auditor, educator, and content creator, and on my channel I provide tips, tricks, and tutorials to help you be successful in a medical coding career. So again, I got the AAPC version, and I'm told that the one flaw that I had with it from last year's version was corrected for this version, so let's see. So this one is the same color, same orange as we have for the 2021 version. So if you kind of look at them here, hold on. So here's our 2021, here's our 2022. You can see the 2022 version has the new AAPC logo on it. Last year, the books donated to the Susan G. Komen Fund, and it looks like this year they are doing it to the AAPC Hardship Fund, which helps out members who are struggling due to situations in their personal lives with paying their membership dues or other membership-related circumstances as available. If you're interested, I could do a video on the Hardship Fund, but just to clarify, it's something that is for existing AAPC members. It's not something that you can apply for to get training or certification as a medical coder. It's to support existing AAPC members who are in need. Now, thankfully, I haven't vacuumed yet, so if I get all of that dust on here from the book, it won't be too problematic. It looks like, though, more recently, I've noticed they're almost like vacuuming out the book so there's not as much dust, so you're not making like Winona Ryder at the end of Edward Scissorhands. Now, if you remember, my one complaint about the AAPC version of the book is that the chapter-specific ICD-10-CM guidelines were not located at the front of the chapter. They were just located at the front of the book. And as I'm going through this, I can check and see, but it doesn't actually look like they did that for this edition as well, which is funny because I had heard that that had changed for this edition, but it doesn't look like it is so. There's a lot of great information at the beginning of each chapter. So it starts out with, I'm looking right now at the diseases of the musculoskeletal system, and it's showing the different anatomy features of the musculoskeletal system, the different types of bones, but I am not seeing the coding guidelines at the front of the chapter, which is kind of disappointing. It doesn't make or break me on this edition because honestly, there is so much great other pertinent information and clear highlighting and iconology in the AAPC version that it doesn't offset me from purchasing it because of that. But if you're someone who's going to sit for your CRC exam, that might be something that you might want to look into. I know the Optum editions, for example, do have those chapter-specific guidelines right at the front of that chapter. So if you're in Chapter 9 and you want to look at those Chapter 9 guidelines, you just flip to the front of Chapter 9 versus flipping through the entire front of the book. Now, though, if you do have this edition and you want to sit for your CRC exam, which is really heavily on ICD-10 and the guidelines, you can print out those guidelines and take them along. You just can't print them out one-sided and then use that blank side on the back to basically supplement a ton of additional information. You can like highlight, notate, and underline on those printed guidelines. You just can't write another book on the flip side of them. Now, this version does include those tabs, so if you want to tab your ICD-10-CM book, they do include tabs. So they have the different alphabets, the guideline symbols, exam prep. So there's tabs in here specific for this edition of the book. The one catch, though, is they are all the same color. So if you're someone who likes to color code and you're like, oh, I want my alphabetic index letters to be one color and then my chapter tabs to be a different color, you know, they're all going to be yellow. It's a good idea when you get a new book to flip through it a little bit just to make sure that none of your pages misprinted and that you wind up like going to an exam or going to look something up that maybe is a code you don't see as frequently, and 3 months from now you go to look it up and you realize that you're missing a page or something didn't align appropriately in the printer. I see that more so with the AMA CPT books though versus the ICD-10-CM books. Everything else appears to be about the same. Honestly, the biggest changes I think from 2021 to 2022 are two things. the cough, so cough. So we have acute, chronic, persistent cough, and then the codes for depression. So depression no longer defaults to major depression single episode. There's actually now an unspecified depression code. So that'll definitely require some system updates and provider education. If you want to know more about the ICD-10-CM book just in general and how to use an ICD-10-CM book, this is the video that you want to check out. I will see you guys in the next video, and until then, just keep on coding on.